Hey, the Chicago Bears, they just found the answer following this huge win against the Rams. So everyone's talking about this offense so far, how it wasn't so good, and now how it's rapidly progressing, most notably of rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. I mean, rightfully so. But one thing that no one's talking about, that's what the defense is doing. The defense is hitting on all cylinders, and the Bears have just shown that they have the answer at three tech, and he's Gervon Dexter. You guys know him. And it's like a lot of people, even on here, they want to live as miserable Bears fans. Focus on ways that GM Ryan Poles has missed, what he hasn't done. But you guys, these multiple hits on picks outside of the first round, they are just piling up, and it's just impacting this team outrageously. And Gervon Dexter, he is him. He's the three tech that's needed to be the driving force of this defense. The second rounder is among league leaders in the interior, already logging 3 sacks in the first 4 games. And I want to go to this story here on ESPN.com. And this is a continuation of what has already started the back half of last season. This guy's going to be a key player, an absolute beast for a lot of years here at Hallis Hall. So through the final 8 games of last season, he recorded 11 tackles, 9 quarterback hits, and 2.5 sacks. And he's dead serious about dominating the NFL. I want to maximize my potential, and I think that's being one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. That's 8+ sacks. I've got it written out on my phone. I look at it every day. And guess what, Gervon? In 4 games, you're over a third there. Let's update that memo on your phone. Let's set the goal higher. And one of the highest pass rush win rates is what he has. Alongside every other defensive tackle, he is showing to be just dominant. And pass rush win rate, this is what this story covers. It's one of the main stats that I look at. I look at it for defensive effectiveness as opposed to sheer sack rates, sheer tackle numbers. It just goes beyond that. And in a nutshell, pass rush win rate, that metric, it tells us how often a pass rusher is able to beat his block within 2.5 seconds. And it's really prescriptive to how a player's doing. And then you add the sack numbers and the tackle totals to kind of see if he's maturing in my eyes. And check this out. Dexter ranks number 6 in the league using this metric. Even better, nose tackle Andrew Billings. He's ranked 3rd. Very nice, right? So then add to that the total stats. 3 sacks, 6 quarterback hits, 12 total tackles, 9 pressures, and once again, the number 6 highest pass rush win rate among all interior defensive linemen. And this is the thing. When you hit that win rate metric, plus you have the stats, you have the sack totals on top of it, it shows a complete player developing right before our eyes. And that's a guy who not only wins at the line, that's the win rate, but also he's maturing and he's finishing the plays as well. And that's how you're getting these stat totals. And the reason I'm highlighting this is because it's a lesson on patience. I mean, it is a total lesson on patience. It's trust regarding this team build. And I'm also going to encourage that the same patience and trust, it needs to be placed on the offense as it matures as well. Can't wait for the messages on that. And yes, that goes for the offensive line. The offseason was filled with an almost panic, if I read the comments correctly. It was on issues along the defensive line. That right end was being ignored. Poles is failing. Dexter wasn't reliable. We got to go grab a free agent. On and on and on. But if you look at Dexter, he came into the year a new man in many ways regarding work ethic, but also physically, just lean, man. And to the point that he went through conditioning testing with the defensive ends, and he absolutely crushed it. And this is here directly from Gervon. It's different things I would eat. And I was like, man, one honey bun won't hurt me. We've all been there, right? So yeah, I just cut that out, and now I feel a lot better. So this guy remade his body this offseason by doing some things on his own. He ate right. He ran hills, Walter Payton workout. Hello. Doing strongman workouts. He was even doing boxing. And he said his goal was to get into marathon shape. And that helped him take the defensive end conditioning drill that I was talking about. And he actually finished in the front of the pack. And that's almost unheard of. So to hear from defensive coordinator Eric Washington and kind of a little bit, he's not really a traditional defensive coordinator. Coach Flus, he calls the plays. Eric Washington is the best defensive line coach in the whole NFL. And we got to trust what he's saying. So he's talking about Gervon. It speaks to his level of discipline, his desire to want to be the starter and a highly productive starter, to go away, to stay away and be to his own devices and have to manage that part of the offseason in terms of what you consume, how you work, what type of investment you make, and what that investment is made in. I'm just really impressed by that. And it's paying off for him. He's quicker. I have the film to look back. I mean, I wasn't there, but I have the film to look back and evaluate and assess and compare where he was last year as opposed to this year. And you guys, it isn't life, isn't football, isn't all this stuff about the little details. And it's the little details in each player's game and habits at the pro level, even that can be the difference between being just a pedestrian dude or taking the step to the next level and being a dominant player. And I think this is all clicked for Dexter as he aims to make that leap towards being an impact player on Chicago's defensive line and in the whole NFL. And I'm just excited about this because we're actually watching it happen. And this is more from Dexter. The good ones can do it for 1 or 2 plays, but the ones that go down as great, they are consistent, being able to play first through the fourth quarter. And this is this marathon shape that he's talking about. Coach Washington, he also talked about his mental commitment this year that's different. He came to Hallis Hall just different. A light flicked on for this guy. To hear from Coach Washington a little more. When Dexter comes on the practice field every day, when he comes into the meeting for a young player, he's got blinders on. He's really focused on himself, what he needs to do in that particular practice. We kind of preview what we're going to do on the field the day before. And I can see that he's taken that meeting outside to the grass. And when he comes into the meeting, he's ready to go. The level of focus that he has as a second-year player, it's pretty uncommon. And let's talk a little more about defensive coordinator Eric Washington and what he had to say. He said that Gervon has improved his footwork, his pad level, his stance even. And that's kind of suggesting, well, he's saying before he had a slow jump off the snap, that was a tendency. And that was a big knock on him too, coming into the draft, slow off the ball at times, can't play first to fourth quarter. Now that that's fixed, I mean, we even have teammate Montez Sweat. He had this to say when he saw Gervon's new physique and watching him play a bit. He's one of those real quick D tackles, but strong as heck. It's really a sight to see, but yeah, he's going to jump out on the scene for sure. And also his presence, it's greatly benefiting every single guy on this line, but also, I mean, having Montez Sweat right there, that helps as well. But these guys are just starting to complement each other just really well. And this to hear a little more from Gervon. Yeah, it's huge having a guy like that, talking about Sweat. He's a multiplier. When you have a guy like that, an edge rusher, sometimes a center, they might slide to Montez automatically. They don't care if we're 3x1 or 2x2. They don't care where the mic is. They're sliding to him. So he's going to create so much attention. And we're seeing this. You kind of get those one-on-ones. And then as well, when he's winning his one-on-ones, you're the guy that's pushing the pocket. Sometimes the quarterback, he just kind of falls into your lap. And being in the right spot with a guy like that will help. And now that Gervon's able to have those one-on-ones, he's winning those more times than not. And Andrew Billings right beside him. I'm going to talk about him a little more, but let's talk a little bit about last year. So he spent most of his rookie season in a rotational role, if you remember, but he started making the most out of his limited playing time. So kind of for context, he played about 400 or so snaps or 40% of the snaps on defense as a rookie. As the season progressed, though, playing time increased. So if you kind of take a sample size of Chicago's final 5 games of last year, he played an average of 28 snaps or 45% of snaps per game. So there's an uptick. And then with that uptick, started getting more productive. In total, he had 20 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, 2 pass breakups. And this is a guy that stands at 6'6". This guy can get to the quarterback with ease, and he started to show that as the season wore on. Played with a lower pad level that has continued, and it just establishes him to win a majority of his matchups against opposing offensive linemen. And I think that his rookie season, it started to show that he was more than capable of playing at a high level. Tremaine Edwards even noticed it as a rookie, and just being a force in the middle of the D line. And let's hear this from Tremaine. Obviously, he was dominant last year. Let's just call it what it is. He got drafted high. So you can tell it's a chip on his shoulder, and just seeing him take that next step, being dominant like we know he could be. So we're kind of looking at this. What has this emergence done? It's given Chicago security on the defensive line. We've got our 3-tech. Coach Flus has said over and over and over that in his defense, it's actually the defensive tackle, that 3-tech, that really is the engine of everything, anchors it all, and everything flows from that. Now we have that player in that position at 3-tech, and now you see the defense playing a little more differently, playing with more freedom, playing more instinctually, and you've got that anchor in the center. It's not just Montez Sweat. Sack numbers are starting to go up. We're already ranked 16th in the league with 10 total sacks. We already have 7 turnovers. Man, it helps out the whole line. And it's strong in the interior. Billings might be the MVP of this defense. He's right next to him at nose. And PFF, they go a final step further. They rank Billings and Dexter in the top half of not just defensive linemen, all defensive starters, at 28th and 32nd, respectively. And this is just such a good thing, you guys. We're going to be able to spend crazy resources on the offensive line, pick a la carte the best player, what we need to continue to keep that cap healthy. But this defensive line is totally set. And I would love to see somebody like Darrell Taylor sign for another contract. We have him for 1 year. Only cost us a 6th-round pick. I think he signed for about $3.1 million this year. Just an absolute bargain. If we can continue to bring these guys in and continue to pay the guys that ball out and cut the fat with guys like Nate Davis that aren't really living up to what they agreed to. But there's even some hope with that. He started to show something last week against the Rams. He actually had a couple key blocks in busting DeAndre Swift free. Always hope, right? But let's not get crazy. So you guys, bear down. Send me a message here. I would love to chop it up in the comments, and cannot wait for this Carolina game. See you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.